Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Ghost Game episode 45, Ghost Newspaper. I'm May, and I'm joined by the stunning Quinn.
Hi.
And of course the equally stunning Chloe.
Oh, hello. I thought we were going to get different adjectives. That's okay then.
Then it wouldn't be equal, like, but then it'll be like,
It
but what if you're not
be
stunning?
equally?
You'll be...
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I guess I could find two adjectives, because apparently one adjective was hard enough. I had to, like, Google that, because apparently I've forgotten the entire English language when I had to actually use an adjective.
Oh, it'd definitely be like
but
that.
anyway, yeah, it's definitely like, oh, I have to Google the answer to this language that I already know. So that was a thing, but anyway, better than some of the ones that it came up with on Google. Thanks, Google, for those insightful ones. Anyway, so with that out of the way, now I've got my word of the day out there, which is just stunning. Let's do some quick housekeeping / updates. So the majority of the Gammamon BE memory evolutions have been revealed. I won't be discussing them here, but I did go over them in my VBBE news wrap-up video the other day, and in my quick review video of this week's episode. So I won't be talking about them here, but they're all on the YouTube channel if you are interested in what they are, but some people might be still trying to avoid them, so I won't discuss them too much. So you are safe if you want to avoid that as a spoiler. So in any case, synopsis. So this week's episode has a random news blog that's predicting tragic events just before they actually happen. Kind of like a Death Note, but more public. And then, so an article will appear about a popular idol group, and Kiyoshiro is a fan of this idol group, and then the characters try to save them. So because the youngest of the idol group lost a cooking challenge, she has to skydive, and then an article is written about her that she dies skydiving. I also want to point out that they almost kill Ruli's friend, which was really alarming. Kind of glad they didn't kill, but also like, come on, you got to go all the way in there, Ghost Game. Anyway, so Gammon grabs Hero and jumps out of the plane and evolves to Chaos Gammon, thankfully, and then fights the Mon of the Week, which is only revealed in the last few minutes of the episode, which I kind of like. And it's a completely new Digimon, Publimon, who looks like Cosmon or Reviewmon, who are both Appmon. And this episode in general was very Appmon, so if you like
just 100%
Yep.
an Appmon script that
Yeah.
got dusted off.
Oh, absolutely. If you enjoyed this week's episode and you haven't watched Appmon, you will probably love Appmon, because a lot of the episodes are like this one, but better. I guess this would be kind of like a mid-Appmon episode,
Yeah.
or like, you know, less than average, like sort of like okay episode, I guess, of Appmon. So yeah, if this is my
This
my plug
script
for
would have made
Appmon.
a lot more sense if Kiyoshiro was replaced by Eri.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Yeah, that'd
They
be
could
so
idols
good.
together. Ah!
And
Yep.
what? Why were they on the plane to get?
Let's wait till we get through the synopsis.
Sorry, yes, I just...
But yeah. And then the episode ends up with Hiro asking Gammon what the digital world is like. So that kind of means that maybe we're going there, or at least Hiro's finally wondering after 45 episode, hey, what is the digital world like? But that tracks for Hiro at this point. Alright, so let's discuss this week's episode. So, highlights. What were our highlights for this week's episode?
Having Kiyoshiro, Ryudamon, and Gammamon all come out as trans by doing their favorite idols, like, intro was excellent.
That was pretty great. Also,
That was adorable.
Gammamon just being terrible at it was pretty cute.
And Rudamon, like, I was, like, I expected, like, Kiyoshiro, we know, is like, a bit of a nerd, so he's, of course, he'll be interested in something, but it was so fun seeing Rudamon be so into it and so adorable. I'm so glad they brought this character back. And it's done in such a better way. Like, I'm fine with Espimon, but it's done in such a better way than Espimon is.
Yes.
Like, I love Rudamon so much. He's just so, and he's a fan of this idol group, and it's so sweet. He's just this, like, little dinosaur buddy who is interested in idols, and I just want to protect him forever. It's really sweet. I just really love the whole, like, bit when they're all, like, doing the idol introduction moment, and Kiyoshiro is so into it, and Gammon is actually into it too, but doesn't remember what he's meant to say, and it's a cute moment.
You're very correct.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice little moment. Excuse me, I'm very tired this evening.
That's fine. The clocks did a thing, so my clocks are forward, but y'all's are the same for the moment.
Yep, I complain every year, but the American daylight savings time is a month different from the rest of the world because candy companies wanted to sell more candy on Halloween, and it's the worst thing.
That's so. Why is America like that?
Yep.
Because if it's not
sometimes
done in the name of maximizing profits, it's not going to be done, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I mean, I kind of wish we had Halloween here because that just means we start selling Christmas stuff in,
Halloween
September
is
because
the
there's
gayest
nothing else in the way.
holiday, and it's the best.
You don't have Halloween in Australia?
No, because I'm in Australia. Like, it's
no.
But
mainly
when do
in
you
y'all's
put on
hemisphere.
costumes and get to be incredibly queer in public?
That's literally every day. And any public holiday becomes like, let's just get really drunk and just have food and just dress up. That's like a lot of the
does
time.
sound
We do
pretty
have Mardi
okay.
Gras in Sydney.
What?
I
Okay.
actually want to. We have Mardi Gras. And I want to go to that one year. Like that's kind of like on my bucket list.
Alright.
We have that.
Yeah,
Is
we
Mardi
should
Gras
all
like
go to Mardi
Halloween?
Gras
I
in
don't know.
Sydney some year.
That'd be cool.
Yep, and that goes off apparently. It's. I mean, I've seen the live stream of it, but no, we do not have Halloween in Australia because it's an American thing that was stolen from like paganism in Europe, from memory.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I just figured,
They.
the white people at least all being descended from British criminals, I sort of assumed that you would have had that.
The shops are like capitalism is trying to force it, but it doesn't quite work because October is in spring. So pumpkins not in season. So people want to do capitalism still. They will have things like, and I'm not even joking, I took pictures of this last year. There is pineapple and watermelon carving.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
No,
Because-
yeah, I actually knew a
Great.
girl who was super allergic to pumpkins who would do pineapple carvings instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly-
And another thing is...
Anyway,
yeah.
we should get back to this episode
No,
soon,
there's just one more thing that... No, hang on, I'm just really mad about this one other thing. So, because again, Australians don't know what Halloween is, they also do Halloween tinsel and Halloween trees and Halloween wreaths.
Well, y'all
But
are
they're
just
just, like-
wrong.
They're just colour-swapped Christmas decorations. I'm not even making this up. And there's Halloween gingerbread houses. They just are releasing the exact same products, but colour-swapped to be, like, orange and black.
Alright, well now
with, like,
I'm,
a ghost in there.
I'm legally obligated to make the programmer joke that Oct31 equals 25.
How dare you?
Because it is, but anyway, so that just annoyed me, and it annoys me whenever a shop tries to, like, push Halloween, because it's not a thing here, and we Australians just don't understand it. Anyway,
No, you need
so,
the costumes. It's an integral part of things.
Mm-hmm.
the costumes are, like, limited to, like, dog clothes.
No,
From what I've
what?
seen.
Y'all missed the
Oh,
best
from what
part.
you've seen. Okay. That's all you've got available
But, like,
right now.
So yeah, so you put, like, the costumes on the dogs, but you don't actually have the costumes, like,
Oh,
for the
no.
humans. But anyway, so Ghost Game, which is, I guess, kind of related to Halloween, so it's not completely off topic, all things considered. My highlight, or one of them, was the fact that Jellymon offering encouragement to the youngest idol member, like, to protect her and to encourage her, was actually really sweet.
Yeah, it was nice.
She was surprisingly decent this episode.
Yeah, and it felt like, because I was worried after last week's episode where she seems apologetic, she seems remorseful, I was worried that they would have her be awful again in this episode like nothing happened, but because she seemed actually helpful, maybe because she is still remorseful about the previous
yeah, she
episode,
didn't
I'm
do
not
the weird
sure.
possessiveness that I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting, like, as soon as Kiyoshiro mentioned he was interested in this idol group and they were going to see the idol group, I was expecting Jellymon to be, like, just toxic and jealous the entire time. But she wasn't. She actually helped them and did so because Kiyoshiro cared. It seemed like, a positive development from her, considering how awful she
You're
was last
not
week's
wrong,
episode.
But I also, unironically believe that this was written as an Appmon script and just turned into a Ghost Game one, and so Jellymon's not terrible because it wasn't in the Appmon script.
Because it was Dokomon.
Yes.
Because Dokomon would have said, Eri-chan needs me.
Exactly.
I will be supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And he would do that because that's just who Dokomon was. There was still that kind of, like, is he in love with his human partner kind of thing, but it was more like Dokumon is devoted to her and wants to
It at
have
least left it
Eri
as a
be happy.
question rather than just, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was less creepy because Dokumon was kind of nice to Eri and Jellymon's not.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, you're right. The more I think about it, like, this episode was just an Appmon episode that I guess they just had the script of, and they were like, hey, this would work as Ghost Game. Ghost Game is fairly similar to Appmon.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it worked out in this
I'm not
case.
saying don't do it. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, it was a pretty
no,
Appmon
actually, I
episode
have...
in a good way, and it showed.
Okay, I have proof that it wasn't an Appmon episode. There was no caught up man.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. That is a shame.
If they had, I would have
love
this
that
would be a
guy.
5 out of 5. If they had caught up man, just for like, just as an Easter egg, it would fit. Just to have a caught up man, like, be one of the people suffering a tragedy or something. Just have that instead of a hero's friend or whatever. I would have given that episode a 5 out of 5 if it had
Speaking
caught up
of,
man.
I do have the highlight that guy got hurt.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like actually hurt. I kind of even felt bad for him. Like, he wasn't even doing anything wrong. That is fair. That is also very fair. My other highlight was the fact that I had no idea who the Mon of the Week was, like, for basically the entire episode, because we only got shots of his teeth or his hands being creepy. So we got these small bits, so I was like, I thought it was, a Digimon that I'd seen before, so I was like, who is this? Is it an Appmon? Like, I thought, because it looked so much like Reviewmon or Cosmon, I was like, is this actually just an Appmon?
We
It
did
wasn't,
have
but-
Agumon show up in Appmon.
Yeah, that is true. I was kind of
did.
like, is this actually
For
an
one
Appmon?
random episode, there was
Yeah.
the Digimon app.
Yeah, because
I
Haru
vaguely
was
recall
a fan of the Digimon app.
Okay.
It was like at the last chunk of the season, and because it was in like the wrapping up arc, we had Ray say like, "Hey, we don't have time for this. Can we go and fight Leviathan? I'm leaving. I'm gonna go fight Leviathan. See ya." It was great.
Yep.
The best thing to do in a filler episode, especially one at the end of the show. Yeah, so this Mon of the Week was revealed to be a completely new Digimon, one that hasn't been in anything else before, not a dim card, not the card game. This is, like, I'd never seen this Digimon before until I watched this episode. So that was kind of cool. It was cool that we didn't see the Mon of the Week until the last few minutes, so it was like a reveal. The fact that it was a new Digimon completely, that was like, it's not often when they show me a Digimon without showing me the Digimon 5 weeks beforehand on Twitter or in like a dim reveal or in like an issue of V-Jump or the manga or a comic or something. So that was kind of cool. It's not done often enough.
I appreciate that two of the idols got a pretty gay moment.
Yeah.
I thought they were related.
Not that they mentioned, anyway.
Her her
just-
persona is the
Little
Himotho,
sister one,
but
but-
I don't think they're actually related.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. Any other highlights?
It was nice that we just had the Mon of the Week die again.
Yeah,
but also
that
in a
was
way that we didn't
surprising.
have to, it was not that we killed the Mon of the Week. The Mon of the Week just died, I thought it
Because
was
that's
nice.
what happens when you fall out of a plane or you are flying and then you fall and land. Like, that was kind of sad though. Like, it was just very sudden. It made sense because that's how gravity works, but it made me kind of sad.
Yeah.
It made
I
you
wanted-
sad
I
for
wanted
the
to-
villain that's trying to kill a young girl?
I just
For
wanted
their
to see more of this
blog?
new... Yeah, no, I wanted to see more of this Digimon. Like, just this new guy. I was like, hey, who are
Yeah,
you?
he's a serial killer, but
Yeah,
he's a little guy.
And if it means that, a couple more idols have to die, hey, just drops in the bucket.
Had he actually killed anyone, or had people just, like, gotten slightly hurt
I mean,
at that point?
he hit Ruli's
tried
friend with
to.
a car.
He tried to get
he did
someone
try-
to go
okay.
parachuting without a parachute.
Okay, I mean,
And he would have
Truck-kun
cracked
did try to
Kiyoshiro's
isekai
skull
her
open.
He did break what's
Yeah, I
his
mean,
face's
yeah,
arm,
okay.
so he's not all bad. But
No, okay, he's a bad guy, but I kind of, like, I don't know, I like seeing new Digimon, but you're right, he did try to, like, send Truck-kun to Isekai Ruli's friend or something. Like, that's, yeah.
oh, and Blue
I
Hair
just-
Idol has some real Azure Sid vibes.
Fair.
Yep. Anyway, she's a good friend of the show and got some vibes from that. So there's a highlight.
Cool. Any other highlights?
It was just a spooky episode.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But that's pretty much all.
Okay, lowlights. I only have one, so I will go first, but it's not even a lowlight. It's like, I miss Monster Disco as an ending,
Yeah.
but the new one's fine. But I just missed Monster Disco, and that's my only lowlight. This episode didn't have anything, like, glaringly wrong, except for Monster Disco not being there anymore. So
thought
what were
the
y'all's
same thing.
lowlights?
I will echo that end of an era with no more Monster Disco at the end. That is a bit of a shame.
Monster Disco is stuck in my head right now.
Yep, same.
Same.
Oh,
I have. It's on like Spotify and YouTube Premium, or YouTube Music rather, and everything. So you can still listen to it. So that's good. But I'm gonna miss having it like after the show.
Yeah.
Like I like Monster Disco.
Other than that, we did have, or at least I had, one lowlight, which is, why does the Digimon who is, in hologram form need a parachute? Can't they all just hover whenever they want when they're, transparent?
Oh, you mean like Publimon? I think it's because he became like physical.
Did he?
But he's
I
pretty
think he did.
clearly in not entirely physical mode, and we see Digimon just kind of flying around all the time in that mode.
I thought he became physical towards the end, but maybe
If I remember
that's just what the
right-
show wanted me to think.
Yeah, but can't they just be whatever form they feel like being at any given time?
They've got to practice.
Maybe he
for
was
that,
distracted.
Quinn, or
Yeah.
something. But also, I'm pretty sure that he had like the little glow around him still that made it like oh yeah, he's not fully
Yeah, he had some translucency going on.
yeah.
To be fair, they have kind of like hand waved that whole thing.
They sure have.
Yeah.
So back to just general lowlights. Literally, why did Hero get invited up onto the plane to go skydiving? Who paid for him to go skydiving?
Well, because their new AI hologram security, which is another lowlight of mine, which is really they're just gonna like get away with that.
Yeah.
I kind of love the idea that everyone knows that they're not AI holograms, but they just can't be bothered arguing with these crazy teenagers with their monsters. So they're like, yeah, sure, holograms.
Okay, but yeah, sure, holograms, you have these dangerous monsters that it's kind of unbelievable that these three random strangers are gonna any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, oh yeah, bocce game, you have no choice but to go skydiving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a point.
It was a little contrived at some points, but other than that, it was a good episode.
Yep, it just they did not quite file off the serial number from the Appmon episode quite as gracefully as they maybe could have.
I will say one highlight that I forgot
Yeah.
was that there was some pretty good animation moments this episode.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that fight was so cool with like the keyboard attack or whatever it was.
Well, and like even before that, when they were like, getting rid of the hands that were trapping the flight crew up in the plane and stuff like that, it was good.
That was also scary when they were in the plane. Like that whole thing that seemed very dangerous and scary.
Oh yeah.
I guess last one.
Any
The Pueblo News thing. I'm with them on, hey, it's celebrity gossip for me to murder this person, but didn't the blog thing just start with announcing bad things would happen to just randos?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Well, and
so.
that was the whole thing. They needed to get more readers, so we gotta up the stakes.
Yeah, and that
We
Yeah.
gotta
yeah,
kill
and
a
that's
public
why
icon.
and also it seemed to be like also targeting anybody who criticized the public news. So it's
Yeah.
also
Publimon shot
I guess-
JFK.
I guess
Publimon,
it's also maybe a yeah.
ahead.
Sorry.
Publimon broke his own parachute, and also he has
Yeah.
a Slow King hat, which I just noticed.
Yeah, I love that hat.
I'm here for it.
It's really cute. I know. I was just saying that maybe it's like public, like it's like a social commentary on people being criticized for their art form and taking it badly and not being able to handle like criticism, and that's why he's decided to like unalive people because they don't like public news. So so like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, you better, kind of thing.
Or air will murder you.
Uh-huh.
I'll push you out of a plane. No, that sounds. I don't even want to say that as a joke. That's too much. I don't like that. Like, can I Control Z the words out of my mouth? Like, I don't know. Anyway, favorite character. Who was y'all's favorite character?
This is where Chloe fits in her obligatory Ava reference. My favorite character was Asuka of the idol group because Ava and Asuka. And also she was just a cutie.
See, I'm not sure if I want to put that as an Ava reference or Asuka, because it actually is a character, but I think I'm just going to put it, because for counting the Ava references, I'm just going to put it down as Ava reference, but I will in the notes write Asuka, the idol. Asuka,
feel free to, the Ava reference counter is just for the folks at home. I do actually think that she was a fun character in this episode, too. I'm just being, self-deprecating about it because, I'm aware of what I do.
So that's the fourth Evangelion character that you've chosen. Mm-hmm. I'm fairly certain, unless I've missed someone. But which doesn't seem that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
My favourite character was Kiyoshiro, but an honourable mention does go out to Jellymon for trying to help the youngest idol, and Rudamon for also being a fan of the idol group.
Mm-hmm.
Just cute moments all round. And Quinn, who was your favourite?
I'm gonna go with Anna, the girl who almost got killed. She was just kind of a cutie.
That's fair. I kind of expected y'all to pick the idol group members.
You know us too well.
Yeah, look.
I do.
All I'm saying is this show would be a lot better if it had more women as regular cast members.
Mm-hmm. And let them be gay all the time.
Or at least talk about things other than men.
Appmon didn't have that many women. Like, it had Ai, but she was more like a supporting character that was just kind of there sometimes.
Yeah, and, that was a negative about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if Appmon could have been improved, it would have just add more women, and Ghost Game is absolutely the same. But at least in Ghost Game,
add
Jellymon
more women and
is...
let the boys be gay.
Yeah, I mean, Jellymon is a femme-coded character at least, so it does have that in Ghost Game. That Appmon, they all had male-coded Digimon, Appmon partners, rather.
Yeah.
Anyway, so rating out of 5, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I just really liked this episode, but it wasn't like... It didn't have anything incredibly amazing that was just pushing it, this just goes beyond what a good episode is. It was just a good episode, but it didn't have, like...
decent, but not pushing the envelope at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't stand out. It didn't do anything that other episodes haven't done. It was just kind of like what I would call just a standard Ghost Game episode. Nothing bad, but... Yeah, as you said, nothing pushing the envelope that just makes it a standout episode. The only thing that makes it stand out, other than it being an episode of Appmon, is the fact that we have a new Digimon. But yeah, so 3.5, it's a good episode, but it doesn't really do anything that the other episodes haven't. Chloe, what are you giving this week's episode?
I think I'm giving it a 4. It was in largely the same rationale, I just liked it a little more, I guess.
No, that's fine. And Quinn?
I think I am also going to give it a 3.5.
3.5. So, putting that into my spreadsheet gives it an overall ranking of 11 out of 15, which means it's tied with episode 22 and 32. Yeah, only those two. Episode 32 and 22. So, I will find those. That's episode 32 is Who Are You? That's a Betsumon episode. Episode 22 is Nightmare, which is the Skull Greymon episode. I think it's better than both of these. What do y'all think?
Yeah. That works.
Okay, so that means that, I don't know why I moved it down that many places. It is in 24th place. So it is between episode 42, Human Hunter, and episode 32, Who Are You? Lots of twos. Episode 42, episode 32, and episode 22. But at least we're splitting that up with episode 45. So yeah, 24th place. So a pretty decent place to put it in the middle of the ranking. In terms of my own personal ranking, it's in 26th place. And this is entirely because I have given so many 5s and 4s. This is actually
really
the top. Yeah, this is at the top of my 3.5s. So 25th place is a 4 out of 5. So that means there are 25 episodes that I've even either given a 4 or above.
Yep.
So why am I like this? I guess I'm just really enjoying this series.
I guess the real question is how many of those are 5s? Because that's the real issue.
Yeah, because I will say, an average episode being 3.5 and right in the middle, that's not unreasonable. For
Yeah.
instance, mine's gonna be in 25th place, right above episode 12.
25th? That's pretty decent. I guess, yeah, it does make sense for, as you said, an average episode to be in the middle. So I guess that tracks. Chloe, where are we putting this episode?
23rd place, right above Scribbles, I think.
Yeah, that would be 23rd. Yep, that's 23rd. So, yeah, we've basically all kind of put it into the middle, which I feel like sometimes an episode feels like it's lower than it should be or it's higher than it should be, but this one feels like it's in a good spot.
This was a
Yeah.
perfectly adequate episode.
Yep.
Which isn't bad. Like, when we say, oh, it's an average episode, it's not a... Like, average is good.
Yeah,
like,
it checked all the
it's
boxes,
average.
It just wasn't anything that special.
Yeah, so that's fine for it. Like, I'm happy with it being in, like, an average position because it's a fine, good, average episode. Alright, so now that we're done discussing this week's episode, let's go on to Pondering, Postmon, Pat, and predictions. So, first up, over on YouTube for Postmon Pat, first up we have JCMon05, who says that the episode Rust was terribly boring, it wasn't really scary, and Antillamon's motivations were flimsy and kind of forced. Even the resolution sucked because the cancel button motive was unreasonably stubborn. The plot wasn't even cohesive, just a bunch of random weak ideas thrown into the melting pot, and more like a bento box, because nothing really melted together in this episode. They do appreciate this episode not being offensively bad, but just being functionally bad and boring isn't particularly desirable either. And yeah, I agree, like, it was actually fairly forgettable. Like, usually I can remember a lot of what happened in the previous episode, but this time it's just like Antillamonn was there in the order button and Jellymon was yelled. Like, the main thing I remember was Jellymon being yelled at and looking remorseful. Like, that was the only reason I think it got any positivity from me, was because I did like that moment. Next we have Xmas Wolf, who is talking about how we mentioned the Ghost Game is maybe wrapping up because of the lead writer's blog post saying that they're just finalising the climax and we're coming to the climax of the show now, which, by the way, I no longer think the show is ending this year because of the Gammamon dim card that they just revealed. But in any case, Xmas Wolf says that they hope when they mean climax, they mean the high point of the story where things start to get into motion and not the end of Ghost Game. And yeah, at this point I think that might be what they meant. Xmas Wolf also says they hope that next episode, so this week's episode, lets us see Thetismon again, because they're tired of her being so underutilized, because the show likes to shove Kyo out of the way and not let him get any big moments unless the episode is solely him. So I would also like Thetismon soon, but at least this episode didn't just do Canon Weissmon again, it was just the other one that could fly.
Yeah, although, honestly, having it be Ken Weissmon or one of the other ones instead would have been amazing when they jump out of the plane.
Yeah. Or like just
maybe that's my
Lamortmon being
miscellaneous
grumpy.
thought. I even said to Quinn, how funny would it be if it was just Wes and Gammamon coming out of the plane and they just plummeted?
Oh, no. Oh, well, Ghost Game did end, but
that's why we have to go up to, next evolution.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah.
Oh, crap, wrong one. We need to be able to fly. Super Evolve.
Yeah, that is a point. Next we have XC Met, who says that they will say, aside from Gammamon, the main Digimon, Jellymon and Angoramon of this series are very independent compared to most Digimon of the previous series, which simply cling to their partners like toddlers. Jellymon by far is the most independent and mischievous. And yeah, I do kind of like that. I remember in Tamers, Renamon and Impmon would kind of go out and exist, like just
Renamon just
like away
had
from
a
their partners.
life going on.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see much of it, so I'm glad that we're getting to see, like, Angoramon is hanging out at his tea parties with his Digimon friends, and Jellymon is scamming people. Like, I'm glad that we get to see what they're doing. Renamon would just kind of go off and just exist and have a life, but we never really know what she was doing. Yeah, she was going off Queen. She was slaying. And that was always kind of cool. And then when Impmon was showing up, like, she would be having, like, deep and meaningfuls with Impmon. Yeah. And she was just murdering Digimon as well. So it is nice that we get to see Digimon exist separately from their partners. I'm very, very appreciative of that. Next, we have Mystic Digital, who says they swear they always have the opposite opinion because they loved Rust. The pacing felt very good. The conclusion didn't feel rushed. Jellymon had a genuine moment of growth alongside Kyo, actually lecturing her. The Antilamon essentially being alchemist was super creative and fun, and we got more Lamortmon. On the other hand, they were not a big fan of Bad Friend, which was all of our favourites. And that's fine. I'm always happy to hear from other opinions, because it would be really boring if everyone would just say, I like this episode. I like this episode too. Like, there'd be no
like if somebody gave out
discussion
like 25.
there.
Yeah. Someone. Not sure who.
Yeah. And then then they say that this week's episode, so episode 45, excites them because it looks like Mika is in danger. And yes, she was.
Mm-hmm.
She got, like, hit by a truck. So that's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a very, very belated highlight. I liked that we couldn't walk back the injuries that happened this episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had Hero's friend have a broken arm. Wow, the English language is not coming to me this week at all. My apologies. Who let me run a podcast? I don't know. Broke an arm, and that was kind of violent. And then Mika is in a coma, I guess.
She
or at
was
least
awake
was
in the hospital.
unconscious. Yeah, she did wake up, but she was unconscious when they brought her to hospital, which is very scary.
But yeah, like, presumably she's gonna have to stay in the hospital and just make a normal recovery rather than just, hitting Control Z on what happened. Because, she was just hit by a car. She wasn't, Digimon necessarily, which was nice.
Yeah, and Ghost Game seems to, like, flip-flop between, like, hey, do we want things to actually last, or do we want them to be easily reverted? And in this case, they were kind of like, they're not permanent damage, but they will at least last for the end until the end of the episode, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Dash Reinvent, who says, imagine if there was one Antilamon who would evolve mid-fight into Cherubimon virus due to Jellymon and the kids being greedy, and in order to turn to vaccine they all have to admit they were wrong. I feel like that would have been cool to have, like, an actual discussion where the one who is wrong is like not the non-mon of the week, so that would have been interesting. Next we have Narumi, who says they're still intrigued about how long Ghost Game will last because there are so many things that need to be solved. They think all three main Digimon have had the time limit problem, so they will get the upgraded Vital Bracelet in the future, which, I mean, we do know that there's an upgraded Digivice. We thought it would be called the Digivice VV, but it's actually pronounced Dual V, which... watch me continue to call it VV, but because it's the VV, that means it is the VB, BE, VV, and it comes with a BEM.
Wow, I hate that so much.
Yeah, when I was, like, writing my script for all this news on Friday, it was like, this is the Vital Bracelet BE, also called the VBBE, and this is the Digivice V upgrade called the VV, and on the VV comes with a BE memory, or BEM, which is also a DIM, DIM, and I'm just, whoa, there too many letters.
There's just as many acronyms here as, like, my TCP/IP class.
Yeah. Which, acronyms at some point get lost, and also, there are just, acronyms also overlap. For example, VB is a beer in Australia, Victoria Bitters. It's probably it's not good, but it is probably the most popular beer, at least in Victoria, and... It's not good, but it is what I think of when I hear a VB because I'm Australian. So acronyms overlap, stop making everything an acronym, and also don't add new to a new thing. At least they called it the BE and not just the new Vital Bracelet. Thanks, Nintendo, because I know you like doing that. Next, we have... oh yeah, so Narumi continues on, because I've not finished reading what they said. I went on a tangent about the VB, BE, VV, DM, BEM. They think that all three... oh, they already said that. NTFJ. This episode was okay. Jellymon finally was scolded by Kiyoshiro, and they're hoping that Jellymon doesn't cause any more trouble. And I'm hopefully not, but I hope that they kind of go back to her having some development. It's not just like, we never heard of it again. Like, I don't want it to be just, quick and easy development. I want it to actually be realistic development. And last off, we have Lazy Croconaw, who says, well, this episode wasn't worse than Icy Hell, but it was really nothing. They liked Kiyoshiro growing some backbone, yelling and pinching Jellymon's cheeks, which is good. Also funny that we mentioned Death Note because the scene of Jellymon yelling cancel over and over again reminded them of something. In Death Note, the scene the dude was eliminating over and over while writing names. Next episode looks interesting, at least. And they hope something bad happens to Hiro's awful friend. Hey, he broke an arm. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
Next episode is looking great. I'm hoping he dies.
Jeez, that's dark. So that's it for the comments on Postmon. Pat, what are our thoughts about the series so far?
It is a ghost game.
Yeah, I think we at
It
least
sure is Ghost Game.
sure felt from the ending like we're just gonna dump all the plot into the last, 15 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of expecting that to happen because it's episodic. I know Young Hunters did that in the last, handful of episodes. Appmon
maybe
kind
watch
of
those at
really
some
ramped
point.
it up more.
Young Hunters was
It-
bad
they're-
enough I never finished it.
Yeah, it's... At least Young Hunters is only 25 episodes long.
Yeah.
I would prefer to rewatch Young Hunters than rewatch Adventure Colon. I feel like Young Hunters isn't as bad as Adventure Colon, but it does have the benefit of being shorter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. It's very fan servicey with that with that big moment at the end.
Not that kind of fan
but-
servicey.
Oh god,
They
thank God.
decide
Yeah, oh, no.
to have time and universe traveling characters from every other season show up.
Quinn just
see, when I
saw
say-
me go
when I-
make a face of horror when you said it gets all fan servicey, and my brain was just like, "Oh no, fan service in
when
a
I mean-
series called Young Hunters? Oh no."
No. When I say fan service, I mean it's a service to fans that's just it'll make them mark out, it'll make them pop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if an Appmon showed up in Ghost Game or an Appmon reference showed up in Ghost Game, that would be fan service to Appmon fans.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like,
I
it's
gotcha. I'm
like a
just
little
so
Easter egg
tainted
for
by
fans.
anime at this point that I can't.
Oh yeah, the
not
definition of fan
assume.
service. No, the definition of fan service is more commonly used for more sexual moments, but I also use it in the way of it's a service to fans.
Yeah.
It's something for the fans.
Both are correct
Not
usages.
always.
It's just, in the context of anime, I always assume the former.
Well, to be fair, Digimon does also do that. I don't think it should. I don't like when it does that, but it does with Lilithmon in Cross Wars, for example, who just decides to massage her breasts, which have anime physics. It's deeply, deeply unsettling. They removed it in the English version, thankfully. But she is also she is also modeled after the deadly sin of lust. So there is that at least. Anyway, do we have any other thoughts about the series so far? Because I'm actually getting pretty positive about Ghost Game again. This episode was good. It was what I want from Ghost Game.
I honestly expect
I want
this
better,
last
obviously.
batch to be pretty good, because the main thing that's been missing was a plot.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, once there is a plot in Ghost Game, I think every episode will be oh, I really hope this doesn't age badly. Every episode will be a 4. Because Ghost Game with plot tends to be good.
Yeah.
All the times we've had Ghost Gamon show up and then, a dark Digimon watching on from above on a random cliff or something, we've liked that. So I really hope that doesn't age badly though. But yeah.
I can't wait
Positive
to find out
vibes.
that Dad's dead. Also, Mom,
I don't know.
who at this point is just Sora's mom.
She's out working.
Kingdom Hearts Sora's mom.
Okay, I
means
mean, it's
nothing
better
to you.
than Taichi's mum from Adventure
true.
Colon, where I just can't get over, she just kept on forgetting that her children had vanished, and she seemed perfectly okay with this development.
Yep.
Anyway, so next week's episode is called episode 46. No, it's not called episode 46. It is episode 46. It's really hot in here, so my brain is just slowly melting out of my earlobes. Balls, ear holes. There we are. I told you, bad. It's called Queen's Banquet. And judging by the preview that we got at the end of the episode, it is horrifying, or at least creepy in some way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure what exactly to expect out of it, other than I'm always a fan of whenever we, terrorize Hero's creepy friend in a episode preview.
Yeah, and I don't know if I know this Digimon or not. This could be another new Digimon. We didn't get a very good look of it. I hope it's another new one. If we're getting a whole bunch of new Digimon, I'm just yes, new Digimon. That's just always exciting for me. I just like new friends. Every time there's a new Digimon, I'm like, you're a new friend. I just really like Digimon, y'all.
Yeah, I could tell when you said that you were sad that the Digimon who almost killed 4 people or so this episode died.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is better that he died rather than, like, you know, get a slap on the wrist of, like, hey, people don't like to be murdered, and then, like, oh, my bad. Like, at least it wasn't that, but I don't know, I just wanted... I hope that he appears in something else, just so I can have more art of him. I think that's just me liking Appmon, though, now I think about it. Like, I don't think it's so much just, like, that I like this Digimon in particular. I just like the fact that he was an Appmon. Like, he just looked like one.
Yeah. There's something about the rounded designs that's pretty Appmon.
It's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
They just look the same.
No, we're not related. We just look the same, which is... I just still wish we had that moment with the caught up man. Hey, are you related? No, we just look the same. Like, like that was a missed opportunity.
It
They
really
should have done that.
Actually. Caught up man convention.
Yeah, I love the caught up man. I just wish that he showed up in this week's episode. It's what was missing. Anyway, do we have any other predictions or any other thoughts about anything Digimon Ghost Game related or just Digimon related? Any Digimon thoughts?
Feel free to redact this joke if it's too dirty for the podcast, but we can't have a caught up man convention because think of the acronym.
Oh! Alright everyone, so thanks for joining us for this week's episode where we covered episode 45 of Digimon Ghost Game. You can join us next week as we cover episode 46, The Queen's Banquet. The link dump's in the description, and to contact us and stay updated, you can find a full list of ways to find out about the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. Head over to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. If you want us to read out your comment on Postmon Pat, you can leave us a comment on this episode on YouTube to join the conversation. If you enjoy this podcast or videos or even my silly little tweets, you can show your support by signing up on Patreon and get some super cool rewards and help us hit milestones, so check that out if you haven't already. And of course, thank you to our current supporters on Patreon, Stephen Reeves, who is Wild164 on Archive Our Own, Kadawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Twitter at Chisai236, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter at Chisai236, Lismet, who is Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Emery from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter Rewatch podcast, Magnus, Lucas, Jason105, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who is on Twitch at The Digital Hazard, Dedicated Gazi, Lemus, Tropiumon, and Vmon Tamer. You can also make on One After Nation on PayPal, which we found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Ergemon. You can also donate to me on my Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. So thank you so much for listening, and thanks to the stunning Quinn and Chloe for joining me for another episode of Digimon Ghost Game. Do you have anything you want to plug or talk about that you've been doing this past week that's fun or cool?
Licorice Recoil ended, and the writers used subtext, and I'm furious.
They were cowards.
See, when you said licorice, I just thought that you were, like, just recommending us to go out and eat some licorice, and I was, like, totally on board for it. Like, yes! We should go out and eat some licorice! Like, that's just... All I heard was just, like, you're recommending licorice, and I was like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, it was an okay show that just didn't have a good ending, and had the girls say the word partner 3 times, and that's pretty much the same as letting them be actually gay, right?
See, they hugged in front of a sunset that looked kind of like the lesbian flag.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they sure
cowards.
didn't kiss at any point or, you know, say I love you or anything. But oh well.
Oh well.
We also did read a book over the weekend called The Society for Soulless Girls that was pretty good and pretty gay.
I've not heard of that one.
It's pretty good, but content warning, at one point a cat does get killed.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep. Anywho,
Sort of. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's ambiguous because it's also very spooky.
Yep, it is a big spoop.
Anyway.
I have the only thing I want to recommend is this Christmas shirt that I bought. It's got Christmas things on it, but it's got like Australian Christmas things. So it's got like ice cream and beach balls and wombats with Father Christmas hats on them and prawns and galahs and pineapples and boomerangs, which that's kind of cool, but I don't associate boomerangs with Christmas, but alright, I guess, and a bunch of Australian flowers. So I'm just happy to find that shirt because I love Christmas and I'm also Australian, so thumbs up to that.
You should put a picture
So
of it somewhere.
anyway, yeah, I will definitely be posting a picture once I'm done being just a sweaty mess of goop, which I am in,
Woo.
because this it's really hot in this room. So let's finish so I can just dunk myself in like the fridge or something. So yes, thanks for listening, and we will all see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.